So, folks, remember how we live in maybe one of the dumbest timelines? Well, that might be under normal circumstances a strong contention that would require strong evidence. But I have such strong evidence, and I present to you now um, a video live stream in which the current mayor of New York City sat down with SNEAKO. That SNEAKO, the SNEAKO that has argued in favor of children being fertile, and who has talked at length about how he believes the Jews run the world. Yes, the Nazi cuck, SNEAKO. Yeah, you guys are familiar. Okay, cool. Yeah. And I just thought, let's take a look at what the hell this is, because I have no idea. Like, Eric Adams must be well and truly cooked. He's trying to talk to literally anyone. Maybe hey, you know what? If we post some spicy memes and ask Eric Adams onto the show, maybe he'll come on. He's that desperate these days, apparently. Let's take a look. Damn, I found it. Looks like YouTube removed it. Oh my god. Here, you know what? While I play for time.
Ferry, you promised it as borough president. It hasn't come to fruition. Obviously, some residents of Canarsie would love to see a ferry, so they don't just have the L train. Wanted to see if there was an update. And I wanted to ask you, speaking of quality of life, Gracie Mansion is in a park, but on Saturday night you hosted a man named SNEAKO, a live streamer, who has shared, not only he shares anti-Semitic views repeatedly, but I'm curious, you were smoking, that's a quality of life issue. Are you allowed to smoke, whatever you're allowed to smoke in Gracie Mansion because it is a park?
Yeah, okay, first let's deal with the ferry. The Andrew Kimball, an entire team, there are several locations, everything from Rockaways, which it's a transportation desert. We want to look at that route. We want to look at the Staten Island route to come into Brooklyn. We want to look at the Canarsie route. We are opening our waterways, and no one has done a better job in opening our waterways than this administration. We have renewed our ports. The amazing initiative we're doing over in the Brooklyn Army Terminal, of what Andrew has done, who's in charge of EDC, of now utilizing our waterways in a manner that has never been used before. In Canarsie, as well as Rockaway, as well as Staten Island, all of these issues. Our ferry service has been extremely successful, and all of these issues are underway. We want to see a ferry out in this area, and I'm sure we're going to accomplish that task. I know we're going to accomplish this when this community reelects me to be the mayor again, to make sure.
What was that, sir? Can we get a...
It's done. I know we're going to accomplish this when this community reelects me to be the mayor again, to make sure it's done and get it finished. So
they're not electing you, you clown.
Do that. Now let's talk about because I saw a lot of reports on this. Gracie Mansion is my house. I live there. And from time to time, I enjoy smoking a cigar. I like doing it with my son. It was a pre-Father's Day smoke on Saturday where people came over to see me. They came over and they sat down. They joined us on the back porch of my home, Gracie Mansion. And one of the people invited a streamer in. I don't know the young man. I'm not familiar with his streaming at all.
Uh-huh.
And he says, I would like to interview you and talk about some of the issues of the day. And that's what we did.
Just some of the issues of the day, sure, why not? You encounter a random streamer in your home. Why not?
His stance on Jews and other issues, everyone knows my position. I've been extremely strong on hate in the city of any kind, not only for Jewish residents. I fought against Islamophobia, anti-Sikhism, anti-LGBTQ plus criticism. And so I wish I would have known his stances, because I would love to have engaged in a conversation with him on that. But I'm open to sit down and be interviewed by anyone, because I'm clear on my message about fighting.
And I'm desperate as hell.
I didn't hate. We just signed the agreement.
I'm clear on my message about fighting hate. It was just appearing on a neo-Nazis live stream. Holy shit. I'm clear on my stance about fighting hate, which is that I am on the side of hate. Dude. Oh, we are so cooked, man.
Agreement. People know my position on what happened in Gaza. Those who are of Jewish and other descent.
What happened in Gaza exactly?
Dissents in this city, they know where I stand. And so I wish I would have known his positions, because I would love to have engaged in a conversation on those positions. But I didn't know. I didn't know him. He was one of the people that came and sat on my back porch and enjoyed the cigar with my son and I. And Amber Rose was there. Scott was there.
Yeah. And you didn't wonder what they were doing there?
The promoter, another business person was there. Jordan was there. We was engaged in a conversation. And for anyone to take that in conversation and think that...
I can't believe this is the man who taught us all how to hide drugs in our rooms. Remember, he did that informational video about how he searches for drugs, and it's just so bad. Oh God, I'm getting the same vibe. One thing I will say about Eric Adams is that I think he would be an incredibly funny Mr. Bean character. You know, like if this man went into Hollywood and just, you know, like Buster Keaton'd around, I'd watch that. I'd watch that a lot. You know, just he walks through a construction site, and like just walks onto a steel beam as it's rising up into the construction of the skyscraper. You know, I think he would be an incredible character. The American Mr. Bean, right? Unfortunately, he has real political power at this particular moment in time, so it's not ideal that he's just like, you know, a Mr. Bean type. I'm confused by this cigar talk. I think he's known as being like a clean with like substances, like no smoking, no drinking. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't really care about what he's into personally.
Was anything more than that? There's not much I could do about that. But the Jewish residents of this city know where I am. They know where my voice is. And they know that there has not been a stronger voice in politics on fighting against anti-Semitism. No one has done what I've done as the mayor of the city.
Yeah, which is why it made it totally okay that I was sitting down for an hour-plus long conversation with a known anti-Semite who has espoused fascist ideology in the past. Yeah, sure. Okay. Real quick. Let's just take a look. I found the thing.
What do you call this place? The mayor's mansion?
This is Gracie Mansion. Every mayor lived here but Bloomberg. This was downsizing his luxury.
What was it? Why did he not live here?
He had a beautiful townhouse in Manhattan. He wasn't trying to switch. Okay. You know.
So you live here?
Yes. This is.
And you must smoke the best cigars.
These cigars are amazing. You know.
Yeah, the Tates want to endorse. This is my cigar.
Yeah.
I'm sick of smoking bad cigars.
And he wanted to get it right, so he said,
like, this is insane to me. I'm sorry. This is insane. This is him being normal. He's very bad at it, isn't he?
Instead of smoking someone else's cigars, he has his own cigar that he does. And what is it? Nicaragua, right?
Nicaraguan Cuban seeds.
Yeah. Although if you would have moved those bottles.
No, I am. That's why.
But we doing this. They doing their rolling now, right? Yeah.
So you go, look, that's what comes in pack of 4.
Perfect.
$600 for 4. Wow. These are aged 7 years. World's finest.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
My
that.
pleasure.
Yeah.
I get you.
You a cigar guy?
Yeah, yeah.
You are? I didn't know he lived in New York.
Yeah.
By the way, this guy. Very-
Like it's just very bizarre. Let's jump ahead real quick.
And good conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm waiting for my cigar. They're getting it from the
got
car
it.
right.
They've been fucking around with cigars for like 10 minutes? Jesus.
In this cold sweat where God said you're going to be the mayor January 1st, 2022. And I would tell everybody I met. People used to think I was on medication. You know what I'm saying? Everyone I saw throughout the years, I said, listen, I'm going to be mayor January 1st, 2022. And everybody that knew me, because it was the message I got from that feeling from God was let everybody know. Because I don't want anybody to think you stumbled on it. Because people got to believe, and my belief in God is so strong in the ancestors. Every night before going to bed, I give thanks to my ancestors and I give thanks to God. But I stay true to that mission. In spite of all obstacles. If you could have somebody perfectly imperfect like me go from arrested, rejected, dyslexic, and now elected to be the mayor of the biggest city, that's only God.
Bars.
You know, one would have hoped that it would be talent. One would have hoped that like you becoming mayor of New York City would have to do with your like I don't know, managerial skills, your leadership, your ability to delegate tasks effectively. Like one would imagine it would have to do with your actual ability. Quirky Nico, no, I don't think so. That's a lady named Amber Rose that I'm not entirely sure what she does. She's just, I think she was on stage during like Trump's inauguration. Yeah.
But God.
Bars for sure.
He doesn't sound sober. I think this is just how Eric Adams sounds when he's shooting the shit.
Rejected, dyslexic,
Spitting.
to elected.
Right. That's
elected.
Now he could have had me, he could have had
God, SNEAKO is so fucking bored. Jesus Christ.
fighting every day. You know, when you look at what I'm trying to do in the
What
city.
brand/size of cigar are they smoking? BTW, one cigar can take an hour depending on how quick you smoke and how long it is.
True. I don't know what the brand is, G. Klein. They do look pretty hefty, though. I had a cigar the other day, and yeah, about an hour, I think, for one of that size. Maybe a little bit longer, depending on how dainty you are. This is weird. Did his son invite these people? Yeah, apparently Mayor Adams' son is a rapper and invited them, and then he decided to hang out with his son's friends and do a podcast with them. Like it's very weird, right?
And you know, many people didn't want me to be elected to be mayor.
Yep, that's an election.
Making paper, but I'm seeing too many bodies that's lined up because of what you are exploiting on social media. So it's not about the lyrics, it's not about the music, it's about when it's used for retaliatory action, taking out other young people. Cause we're losing a whole generation, man, to this violence. And you know, young people at that age, they have so much heart.
Right.
You know, and when that heart turns into taking out another young person, that it can't happen.
Well, it's calmed down quite a bit.
Yeah,
The New York drill music was really big post-COVID. How were you responsible in slowing that down? Because I personally, I feel a lot safer walking around, taking the train today than I did 2020, 2021.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, I wonder what happened between 2020 and 2021 that might have affected that.
What's happening in the city. I
God.
know it is now, you know, and I wanted people to.
As well.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I just always thought he was cool.
Just going through her tattoos.
You're not just, you know, I've talked with him. You know, it's the weight is unbelievable, and you know, God. I believe God. Whatever I went through, He prepared me for this moment, and it's challenging because you know people don't think that you're able to to overcome. Hey man, I didn't go to Harvard and Yale. I went to
If
Yale.
only someone like the mayor could do something about it.
You know what I'm saying? But just think
He
about
should
that
have been a
for
rapper over here.
but think about that for a moment.
I'm hurt. You were hurt. I'm sure you were hurt. We've all been hurt.
I don't believe that either.
Yeah, because
That's
it's
a
like,
powerful statement. Yeah.
we've all been hurt. We've all been poor. We didn't turn to violence.
Right.
We didn't go out and kill people because we felt bad.
Yeah, and because we didn't, that means other people wouldn't, because every person is interchangeable and the same.
And I hate to be insensitive, but I feel like that's just weak-minded people.
I was gonna say weak people hurt
Some
people.
of the most
Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't have money to feed your children and you have the opportunity to steal a loaf of bread, stealing that loaf of bread is actually weakness. The true strength is looking your child in the eye and watching them starve while you also starve. Like you guys understand, like her way of thinking about this is childish.
Weak people hurt people.
I like that.
Some of the most privileged people kill people.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the richest people in the world hurt people.
Think about it.
Oh no, the smartest person in the blunt rotation.
If you're hurt, you know how it feels. So
Yeah.
you don't do that to others because you know how it feels, right?
Yes.
So,
Like smartest person in the room. If you think about it, people who are rich can hurt a lot of people.
I feel that if you're hurt and you go through a lot of mental trauma, whatever, you actually become better.
I'm a
Hurt
better mother because of what
becomes-
my mother went through. I'm a better mother to my children because I
Because
don't
of
make
what-
the same mistakes my
Correct.
mother did with me.
Because you will never want to feel
Yeah,
your kids feel what you felt.
absolutely.
So when you're hurt, you want to not hurt people. I think you hurt
But
less
what he
people.
said, weak people hurt people. And it's really true because it's like,
God, this is the level of discourse some people actually consume regularly. I can't. I can't do this. Can you imagine listening to this and thinking that this is profound?
who cares about a political view? When I endorsed Donald Trump, I still had a bunch of friends. My personal assistant that's been with me for 10 years, he voted for Kamala. I didn't fire him.
Right.
I said, we live in a free country. You're allowed to make your own decisions and who you want to vote for.
Yeah, and surely no employer would discriminate against their employees for voting differently. Surely that would never happen because, employers are so beneficent all the time.
That's okay, but I feel like a lot of the times it's like,
Has SNEAKO said a single word this entire time? I think he's said like maybe 2 sentences.
let's just have different political views. We can all coexist together. It doesn't have to be that bad.
Why did you decide, to go with Donald? What was the reason? What was the reason that you said, you know what? Because you were a Democrat before.
I was.
And you decided that, hey, now I want to go with.
I posted a picture of a overflowing trash can. I said, what is Donald Trump doing here? That's what I posted the last election. So my political views changed drastically because I felt slighted. I felt like the media lied to me, and I don't like to be lied to.
So to get back at the media, I voted for Donald Trump.
And when I saw the 5 second,
Yeah, meet the median voter indeed, Gamer G. Like, I unfortunately, when we talk about average American voter, this is where we're at.
clips of him saying things, and I'm like, oh, this is a bad guy. He's racist.
Is she rich? Yeah, I think she's rich now.
He doesn't like black people, right?
That's not true at all.
And then I saw
That's not true at all. He only denied black people the ability to rent apartments he owned. He's not. How could he possibly be racist? The guy who owned the casino and didn't want to hire any black people to work the floor because he thought it made the casino look unprofessional. How could he be racist?
saw the whole clip, and I'm like, oh, y'all really played in my face. It pissed me off.
Right,
I was
right.
upset.
That's media. I know him personally. He's probably one of the nicest guys.
He's one of the nicest, funniest
guy.
people.
I know.
And
He's one of the nicest guys. He wouldn't be racist to me, just to poor people.
he loves black people.
He does. If I belong to Mar-a-Lago,
Yeah.
at that club, there's more black people working.
Jesus Christ. I don't know who this is. But holy shit. Oh my god. When I go down to Mar-a-Lago, folks, I see so many black people working. How could he be racist? I just don't see it. How could the southern plantation owners be racist? When I go down there, I look out at the fields and I just see so many black people. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Are you fucking kidding me?
More immigrants working than white people. At Mar-a-Lago, at his house where he...
Yeah, no racist person has ever had like Hispanic gardeners. Jesus Christ. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't know, guys, a lot of people in like the wealthy neighborhoods of like the Twin Cities, and I think this is true in a lot of other places in the United States. There are like lawn care services run by predominantly like Hispanic folks, and the fact that they work in like rich upper class neighborhoods in the area, like, that doesn't indicate that the people who live in the houses and pay for their services aren't racist. Like, do you have any idea how racist you have to be to like just be like, I don't want to benefit from that person's labor. That's how racist I am. Like, that's insane. Like, they're like, oh, no. It couldn't possibly be racist. He allows them to work for him and generate surplus value that he then takes and pockets. This is white supremacy. It is.
He lives.
Yeah.
And I see how he is with people.
Even everything that's going on now, and I talk to my friends, and they're like, he hates Mexicans. I'm like, oh, girl, you don't know nothing. Just stay out of politics, girl, because you don't know nothing.
Yeah, Eric Adams is definitely gonna win. Eric Adams is definitely gonna win his mayoral bid. Just yucking it up, defending Donald Trump from claims that he's not racist. Yeah, the guy we all saw come down a golden escalator and talk about how Mexicans were all rapists and murderers. Yeah, they're definitely not a racist. The guy who campaigned on mass deportations, he's racist? Wow, that's crazy.
It's like, I don't understand how you can't look at everything and then make a decision, you know? And
right. And people don't want to do.
Look at both sides, then make a decision.
Right.
You know, do
and not
your research.
allow others to do so. And so, you know, when I got indicted, and a lot of people, no one really read the indictment.
I didn't.
I was.
No one really read the indictment, so, like, technically I could just tell you guys that anything was in there, you know? Like, no one really read it. It actually said I was innocent.
I was indicted because I called the fire department and asked them to do a building inspection for a building that we were trying to get open because the president of the country was coming here. And
never underestimate NYC's ability to pick the worst possible choice for mayor. I swear, if you guys disappoint me with Zoran Mamdani, I'm done with you, NYC. I'm done with you.
When I texted the commissioner, I said, can you have somebody go do an inspection? And if you can't, let me know and I'll manage their expectations. They said, well, Turkey upgraded you when you flew. I don't know who don't try to get an upgrade. And they said, we're now saying that you committed bribery because you called the fire department and you pressured them to inspect the building, not to pass the inspection. I was facing over 30 years in prison for that.
You know, can I just say, weird that your claim now is that you called the fire department to get them to do an inspection? Why would you need to do that? If there's a scheduled inspection, why would you need to call them to tell them and pressure them to do an inspection? Because that's a weird choice of words. Usually, if you're calling to tell someone to do their job, you aren't pressuring them to do their job. I don't know, like, he just sounds guilty as hell, okay?
Over 30 years in prison.
Yeah, it is.
He was on the campaign trail. I never met Donald Trump. Never met him. He was on the campaign trail saying, look what they're doing to this guy. You know, he identified with what happened to his family.
Right.
He saw it as happening to me. And so he was on the campaign trail. We never met, but he was saying, look what they're doing to that man in New York.
So what do you think was the reason that you were targeted like that?
We had a overflow of migrants and asylum seekers coming to the city.
Oh my God.
Hotels, right?
Yeah, 237,000. Right. And I went back and forth to Washington. I met with the President Biden twice. I went back and forth to Washington and saying, listen, this is not sustainable. It cost us $7.7 billion would it be. And each time I went, they didn't do anything about our border. They didn't secure the border. They were.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So the story he's going with is that he went to tell Biden to secure the border so that undocumented immigrants would stop coming in from Mexico and Latin America. Because he doesn't mention, by the way, that the reason so many showed up in New York City was because Governor Greg Abbott was shipping busloads of like undocumented immigrants up to New York. Like, I was begging him all the time.
All coming to New York. And after 10 trips to Washington, after pleading with the president, they didn't want to listen. It was devastating the city. And I said, listen, they told me be a good Democrat, be quiet. I said, listen, I'm not going to, I was elected to help this city. And when I started criticizing.
Be a good Democrat, be quiet. You know, I just don't think that that's reflected in like the what was happening. Bribery and campaign offenses. Let's see here. As alleged, Mayor Adams abused his position at this city's highest elected official, and before that as Brooklyn Borough President, to take bribes and solicit illegal campaign contributions by allegedly taking improper and illegal benefits from foreign nationals, including to allow Manhattan skyscraper to open without a fire inspection. Adams put the interests of his benefactors, including a foreign official, above those of his constituents. This office and our partners at the FBI and DOI will continue to pursue corruption anywhere in this city, especially when the corruption takes the form of illegal foreign influence on our democratic system. Damn, if only we had something like that for the presidency. For nearly a decade, Adams has used his prominent position in New York City government to obtain illegal campaign contributions and luxury travel. He solicited and accepted these benefits from foreign nationals, businessmen, and others. Adams then pressured the New York City Fire Department to facilitate the opening of a foreign government's Manhattan skyscraper that had not passed a fire inspection. To conceal this criminal conduct, Adams took steps to hide his receipt of improper benefits from the public and law enforcement. Yeah, it goes on to detail a lot of this stuff. I'm not going to read all that, but this is funny as hell.
Criticizing them. All of a sudden, you know, they stepped to me.
They play dirty.
Right. Dirty?
Yeah. Dirty.
You know?
But Dad, you need to talk about how they've been chasing you just about all of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That was always
from time the FBI has always been chasing you.
Yeah.
And me not being a politician, being on the outside and watching everything, you've been making sure the city has been safe. You have been making sure the city has been booming, like entertainment-wise. So it makes no sense for anyone to come after you for some tickets on a plane, for some.
Yeah, doesn't make it. You've been doing so good as mayor with all of your bribery that you've been accepting. So doesn't make any sense that people would come after you for bribery. Look at all of the Broadway shows you sold out.
International stuff when you're already Mr. International with New York City.
Well, yeah, of course. SNEAKO is bored as fuck. He's bored. Like, Eric Adams is not an interesting man, guys. Neither is his son. SNEAKO is bored as hell.
No, without a doubt.
So it was because you spoke your mind. I'm only saying it because I'm not.
Like, SNEAKO can't or doesn't want to, like, be, like, openly bigoted in front of Eric Adams. This is his most professional attempt, you know? And he's just bored as fuck.
Politician. It's some.
Yeah, Eric Adams had to shore up the SNEAKO vote.
Yes, you poked your chest out and they got mad about it.
So maybe we all have that in common. I used to be a Democrat. I voted for Bernie Sanders in 2016, and then when I saw what the Democratic Party did to rig it against him, I voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. So it seems like you're no longer part of the Democrat Party.
No, I'm still a Democrat. I'm running on an independent line for office. I'm still a Democrat. I believe that it should be.
I would love for them to grill him about what his policies are.
What your principles are and what you should stand for, because a Democrat is not a monolithic party where everyone believes the same thing.
Right.
79% of New Yorkers agree with me that if you are undocumented and you commit a violent crime after you serve your time, you should be deported.
You gotta go.
Right. And many people don't believe that. They don't believe that no matter what. And what's interesting,
many people believe that, like, you shouldn't arrest violent. You shouldn't arrest undocumented immigrants if they commit acts of violence. Like, what are you saying, man?
Those violent Venezuelan gang members, like I went down to Ecuador, Colombia, and Mexico to talk to the people down there. They said these violent gangs are destroying us. And many of them made their way up here through our borders. And when we decided...
Yeah, violent gang members, famous for abandoning their area of operations in order to do a continent-spanning trek in order to, live in squalor and then perform menial labor in the United States in order to send their kid to, like, a good school. Like, and send some retirement money home to their parents. Like, what are you talking about, man? That this isn't happening.
That, listen, you can't stay in this country if you are violating your privilege of being here. And those gangs are preying on women. They're forcing them into prostitution. They're taking their papers and forcing them into prostitution. They're threatening their family members at home. They are shooting innocent people. And so there's in a Democratic Party, the far left of our party embrace the belief that no matter what you do, you should still be able to remain in. I said,
what are you talking about? That's not how our system works. The Democratic Party hasn't advocated for this. Like, what are you talking about?
That's not how I roll.
Absolutely.
That's
the
not how
Democrat
I roll.
Party's losing its mind. There's a lot of, not all of them, of course.
Right.
This one's so absurd that they're allowing crime. They look the other way.
I think that's why that pushed us more.
Huh? This way?
It's so absurd they're allowing Madani.
Right.
He's
Exactly.
He's not wise enough.
Oh, they're shitting on my main man's Zoran Mamdani.
Pushed us more.
Huh? This way?
It's so absurd they're allowing Madani.
Right.
He's
Exactly.
He's not wise enough or old enough at all to.
I like to change subjects real quick. Dad, I'm gonna talk to you about.
They all sound wasted as fuck. But additionally, I love that man just tried to shit talk Zoran Mamdani for being too young and too inexperienced to get things done, when, like, Eric Adams is spending his spare time hanging out with SNEAKO, one of the laziest motherfuckers out there. It's crazy.
About the feminist movement, but Amber, I'm talking to you about the slut walk.
Okay.
How do y'all feel about the feminist movement in New York City as far as women being empowered, women finding great jobs?
Okay, I want to listen to the answer of this one, then we're going to be done with this, because I don't want to spend more time on this than we have to.
And women being figures in this city to be a staple.
He was literally just smoking a joint on camera. I didn't see what he was smoking. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to that.
So I no longer do the slut walk.
Yeah, I know.
Now tell me about that walk.
Okay, so the slut walk was very misconstrued. They thought I was promoting promiscuity to young girls.
Okay.
That does seem like a logical conclusion from an event called the Slut Walk.
To be sluts. That's not what the slut walk was.
It was the very respectful covered walk. It's easy to get them mixed up.
We raised a lot of money to help women that were survivors of sexual assault and rape. We got them counseling. We donated to Trevor Project, which was about young gay kids that wanted to commit suicide because their families didn't accept them. So we did all the right things in Slut Walk. The name Slut Walk, people just didn't want to research it, and they just assumed what it was. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing it. And also,
it was famous for women participating in it to dress in clothing that one would consider slutty. Because it was a protest against like the practice of slut shaming. So it seems like maybe you tried to backpedal on this isn't really super effective.
I'm no longer a feminist because men and women are not equal. We're just
it always blows my mind to hear like someone make that argument when it's like you realize in this scenario you're at the bottom of the food chain. You're saying you are inherently less good than these two men. Sorry, 3, 4, 5 men around you? Jesus.
It's not equal. We're never going to be equal in a lot of ways. And I'm okay with that, being a woman.
Feminism was about codifying your legal rights and your legal equality and your social equality. That's what you're rejecting right there. You know.
I feel like if there was no men on the planet, women would probably suffer in a lot of ways.
What? The leap that just took place is astronomical. If all men died, women would have some problems. Yeah, but in what scenario are all men dying on the planet? What is there like a gender plague? Anyone who identifies as a man die? Like what is it, like a mimetic alien virus? Is it like a Y chromosome based biological attack? Like what's happening here? Yeah, is it a Y the last man situation? Like it's a stupid way of thinking about the world.
We would suffer too if there was no women here. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
I agree, and I feel like we need each other.
Yes.
I think that I personally believe in gender roles.
People have gender roles. Like gender roles are a thing that exist in society. Like no one denies that those exist. It's
a personal opinion. But yeah, I'm no longer a feminist for that reason, which is why SNEAKO was just saying that we both lean more right now. Because what we initially believed in on the left is no longer that. It's more leaning right. Just common sense, logic, things of that nature.
Yeah, common sense and logic all totally align with conservative values these days. Oh God.
It just got a little too extreme for me.
Right.
And that's why I moved.
And that's interesting because you voted. You said
for Bernie Sanders in the primary.
That's powerful.
Yeah, and then switched and voted for Trump in 2016 and 2024.
Me too. I voted for Bernie Sanders as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so similar to what they did with Bernie, they did with Biden. You know, they compelled him. First of all, it's clear now that they knew that he was. You know who.
I had to learn disability.
And look where you are now. Your name is on the lips of every prominent person in this country. You know? Yeah. And you're still doing what you do.
Wait, who is that guy?
They say, what if I'm no longer going to do this? You know, like I said, when you look at the journey, you know, there were many times where I could have been defeated. And I know what I've done for the city that I love. I know how good I've been for the city that I love. And I'm not going to wake up every day and say, what if I'm no longer going to do this? God is always going to have something for me to do. So I'm looking to be reelected because the city needs to continue what we accomplished.
Finish what you started.
Right. Can't say it better, Richie. No one knows that better than you. You were the owner of One Oak.
Come on now.
You know, you look at Richie's story. You know, we all talk about our story. This brother here.
That's real.
You know.
What is One Oak? Oh, That's Richie Akiva, I think. Akiva, been referred to as the king of nightlife. Oh, he's Leonardo DiCaprio's club bestie and was arrested in New York City back in April.
Not even the Dono ghost wants SNEAKO's bones.
Whoa! It's the Dono ghost! Let's see. Founded iconic NYC hotspots, One Oak and Up and Down. Was pulled over by a cop in an undercover vehicle for having tinted windows. He's driving on a suspended license. Just so weird for all these rich, powerful people to know each other. So odd.
This brother here, man.
You should all go to One Oak after the stream.
Assets to send money back home to their loved ones, and without paying those exorbitant fees from doing so. And so I'm really focused on. I want my young people to learn in earlier grades about AI.
Oh God, whatever. Whatever. I'm done with you, Eric Adams. You suck. Anyway, let's hear the rest of his answer from the press conference he had to do apologizing about it.
Oh no, because I want to put this. Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, given the heightened political climate we have, you're running for re-election. Do you think you should vet people better when you're coming to Gracie Mansion? If that is, I mean, the stuff he's said about both Jewish people, he's refused to denounce the Holocaust. He's been critical of Israel. It seems really to be counter to how you feel, and especially the standard you have for many other people, whether it's in your administration or even other people who cover you. So do you wish you had vetted him more?
And I'm glad you said that. You said that he is counter to how I feel. So we're clear on that. And yes, hindsight is 20/20. One of the downsides of my style of mayoralty, I engage with everyone.
One of the downsides of my style is that I engage with everyone. Well, so wouldn't it be a better style to not engage with, like, I don't know, neo-Nazi types? Like your style is engaging with Nazis in dialogue. Your style is just to play patty cakes with bigots. All right, that's really fucking bizarre, but okay.
Just a matter of time before Adams goes full Mike Lee cheers on the murder of the Minnesota state senator and her husband.
Oh yeah, like set the clock. You know, it's Eric Adams. Like if you're willing to go on with SNEAKO, you're willing to engage in literally any conservative conspiracy theory. There is nothing now that Eric Adams won't stoop to in order to try and save his own career, you know? And like it's just so painfully clear that he is desperate and pathetically married to this descent into the far right.
You know, one of the, people, my team criticizes me all the time. They criticize me when I give my phone number to high school students to text me when there's a problem. They criticize that I'm willing to sit in a room with anyone and everyone. Maybe I'm just too optimistic, that I believe there's something good in everyone and we should try to find that. And so, yes, maybe I should have reached out to the team late at night and said, hey, can you vet this person? But it's a challenge for me because everyone comes to me and just about everyone I know puts a foam in my face, like you, and they don't vet you.
Like you. Sir, you're talking to the press corps. You're talking to people whose job it is to report on what you say. Like they don't vet you. Yeah, wait, actually they do. When they hire for the news outlets, when people show up to the press event, there is a vetting process actually.
Before you put that foam in.
Wait, when you really think about it, it's all of your faults. All of you in the press, it's all your fault for making this an issue. Otherwise, I could have just gone on a Nazi podcast scot-free and no one would have talked about it. Really, it's your fault for making a big deal about this.
My face. So we are in a universe now that everyone is a reporter, everyone is a streamer. You don't even know who.
Everyone is not a reporter and everyone is not a streamer.
Who comes up to you nowadays? People stop me on the street, they ask me a question, and I answer it, and next thing you know, they were recording me, and I'm hearing it later on social media, and so I just try to be authentic.
See what I mean? He's just Mr. Beaning around.
And true to who I am, so no matter where I'm recorded.
This man has never met a set of stairs he's not going to fall down comedically and land like on a whoopee cushion.
Or who records me, they're going to see the authentic Eric. You look through that entire conversation I had with that young man, you didn't hear anything anti-Semitic, you didn't hear anything that I haven't said before about my life. I'm transparent. And I think that's the difference from others who want this job. They're trying to pretend they're something that they're not.
I did my bribery out in the open where anyone could have found it. That's what makes me different from everyone else. I did my bribery crimes in public, and that's why you should trust me. What an incredible campaigning mind.
Transparent. Who I've been all my life is who I am right now, and I'm not going to change. If someone likes him, comes up to me and want to ask me a series of questions and put a foam in my face, I'm going to answer it. I'm going to always answer it. And not everyone can go through the extensive vetting that we do. This was not a planned interview. I was on my back porch with Jordan smoking a cigar. Other people
Yeah, you know you could just say, "No, I don't want to be recorded in my home. Thanks." You could have said no.
Came and joined me, and they brought people with them, and they started engaging in the conversation. And he was one of the people that engaged in that conversation. I didn't know his history. I don't support anything that is criticizing any group in this city.
God, do you guys think it's possible I could get Eric Adams on this show? If he truly talks with anyone, you know? Oh my God. I'll have my people reach out to his people. Oh man. Can you imagine what it would be like to just have a conversation with someone like this? It would genuinely be hilarious. You didn't even finish it? Oh, sorry. There we go. Would you actually host Eric Adams for realsies? If Eric Adams wanted to come on here and be mercilessly mocked by me and or questioned by me, I would happily have him on. I don't think he will ever do that, and I don't think most politicians will do that. But, you know, I think it'd be fun to have more politicians on the show. You'd be very respectful, insanely respectful. I pledge that if I ever have Eric Adams on this show, I will not call him like a bald-faced liar and a nincompoop. Okay? I won't say that to him. I'll just be thinking it very, very loudly. Oh, Eric didn't finish the cigar? Oh, yeah, he was told they were such expensive cigars, too. I think you need 1 million subs before politicians start to acknowledge you. It's true. It's true. We'll get there. We're going to be bigger than Hassan. Did you have AOC on your show? Yes. It's me, Riverboat Jack, the streamer that had... No, I have never had anyone remotely as famous as AOC on my show. She's on every other Thursday. Yeah, we have a regular game of Among Us. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Love my necklace. Thank you, Tristan. And folks, I don't know if I pressed the button. I'm pressing the button now. Eric Adams is a silly goose.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.